In this episode of the Colion Noir podcast, I sit down with my new friend, Heidi Dillon. She's a Dallas socialite, reality TV star from Big Rich, Texas, and a fashion maven who knows how to make waves both on and off the runway. Imagine mixing a dash of Southern charm with a whole lot of fierce attitude, and you've got Heidi. She's out there making bold moves in the fashion world while navigating the drama and glitz of high society with the finesse of a seasoned pro. But most importantly, Heidi loves guns.
Essentially, the shit's going to hit the fan and we're going to have to pull out our firearms, and I hope that's not in my lifetime. I hope that I'm raptured out of here before that or whatever. In the event that I'm not raptured or it does happen in my lifetime, I want to be prepared. I don't really have any other survival skills to bring to the table. I mean, I'm a fashion girl. In my background, I have a master's degree and bachelor's degree in fine arts. I used to teach art. I was an artist. I don't have any real skills, so at least I can say, hey guys, I have really sick guns. I've got a lot of ammo, and I know how to friggin' use them. Yeah. And there's this category of guys that I call random range guys. Random range guys, you get that name because you tell me some dumb shit. You tell me stuff that makes zero sense, even to me who doesn't know that much.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Colion Noir podcast, and joining me today is Heidi.
Hi, Colion. It's so nice to see you.
Absolutely. Nice to see you too again. We haven't seen each other since the first time we met.
The first time we met. I know. Yes, I remember it vividly. I remember it vividly.
Whose side of the story do you want to tell first, mine or yours?
Girls first.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So I was out at ETTS gun range, and I was in the middle of a psychological meltdown because none of my guns were functioning. There were malfunctions right and left. So then this guy rolls up, you, in a really sick matte black truck, F-150. Is that what it is?
It was the TRX.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but it's really cool. And you get out and you're like, hey, I'm Colion Noir. I want to put you on my podcast. And I'm like, I was so confused. I'm like, who is this guy? Is he in fashion? Or maybe he's an obsessive Real Housewives fan? I couldn't figure out, or maybe he's just a guy, because it's not uncommon for guys to come up to me and go, hey, I teach firearms, I do private security, because I look like I need security. And that's why I'm at the gun range, dude. And so I was just massively confused. And then you pointed out your Instagram page to me, and you have like 1 million followers on Instagram. I'm like, oh, you're a big effing deal. Okay. Then I was really confused. What is
because you thought I was a fashion guy.
Well, I didn't know why. I'm like, why? And I look at your page and everything. I'm like, why does this guy who speaks about gun things to guys think that I would be of any interest to like 3 million guys? I don't know.
All right, now I'll tell you why.
Okay.
All right, so my side of the story. So I'm out filming with Peter. We're out filming a gun review. And then I look over, and I'm a consummate car guy. I'm a huge car guy. Yeah. I'd say that every opportunity I get, especially when I'm on other people's podcasts. So I'm looking around and I see this black vehicle, and I'm like, I know that silhouette, but it didn't register in my brain. I'm like, that's the silhouette of a Rolls Royce. I don't see Rolls Royce out here at the range like that. No. And I'm like, I didn't process, so we continued filming. Then I went over there and I saw it again. I was like, nope, that's a Rolls Royce. And then I saw you shooting. And I'm like, okay, so that little antiquated animalistic part of my brain goes, I was like, none of this is making any sense. Right? Like, it's just like I see this woman, like you pointed out, it's like I can see somebody saying, oh yeah, I was like, I teach self-defense with firearms. You look like you might need some help in defense with firearms, and so forth and so on. And I was so beautifully blown away by the fact that, because nothing about you screamed, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, thank God.
like so that, I'll be honest with you, like that's what threw me for a loop. I'm like, there was one part of my brain that's like, did she get lost and come out here? And then, so Peter fucked everything up. So now we are back on with everything working fine. I don't know why I pay him, because nothing ever works, but
because I'm cute.
That's true.
Don't gas him up, because then I got to deal with it. But initially I was like, I'm not just gonna walk over there and just intrude on your clearly range session. So I went and talked to Patrick, and I said, hey Patrick, I was like, who's that lady over there in the black Rolls Royce? And he's like, oh, that's Heidi. And I was like, oh, so he's like, yeah, go talk to her. Yeah, she's really cool. And so I was like, oh, okay. I don't know if you saw, I tried to like ninja approach you. literally because I didn't want to like be too like, I didn't want to like pull up and then skid to a stop and say, hey, what's going on? I want you on my podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I tried to be as kind of soft about it as possible. Because I mean, in a weird way, it's when you're at the gun range and when you're shooting by yourself, it's weirdly kind of vulnerable when people walk up on you. It's odd. I don't know if you have the kind of same experience as I do when I'm shooting by myself sometimes. But I get up there and then, I see the Rolls Royce and then I see you decked out in all black. Like I'm obsessed with the color black. So I know when somebody deliberately wears black versus someone who just happened to wear black that day. So I'm like, I instantly felt like, you know what? I feel like I'm going to have a lot in common with this woman. And then that's kind of when I introduced myself and I was like, hey, you're out here shooting at a gun range. And so I was like, I got to have her on my podcast because you, for lack of a better way of saying this, you don't fit the stereotypical mold of what you expect to see at a gun range.
Yes, I'm an anomaly.
Exactly. And I think in many ways I saw a lot of me in you as well.
Oh, thank you. I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, it's my background was in firearms. It never was. And, and you could argue it was more or less towards the opposite. Growing up in the city where, in the era that I was in, being young and black with a firearm, automatically, even my mom would think, oh my God, is he in a gang?
Yeah.
Right. And I remember when I was in law school and I was still living at home, I remember buying my first rifle and hiding the rifle underneath the bed so my mom wouldn't find it. I would hide all the guns I was buying, right? And eventually over time it just became, it wasn't over time, it was pretty quick, to be honest.
Yeah, it hits you pretty hard, quick and hard.
So would you say at this point, what type of gun person are you? Are you kind of just like a casual observer or and a casual engager, or would you go full bore and say that you're an enthusiast? What would you?
I would say I'm just pretty hardcore at this point.
Yeah.
Like the guys who I train with and stuff, they're former special forces, guys like that. Some of the guys I train with.
Yeah.
And I just, and this is maybe not such a fun topic, but I'm training for a particular purpose. I love it. I love training. It gives me pleasure, and I love the process of buying new guns and learning new guns. But the times in which we live, I have a specific reason why I'm training.
And would you care to go into that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I think, essentially the shit's going to hit the fan and we're going to have to pull out our firearms. And I hope that's not in my lifetime. I hope that I'm raptured out of here before that or whatever. But in the event that I'm not raptured or it does happen in my lifetime, I want to be prepared. I don't really have any other survival skills to bring to the table. I mean, I'm a fashion girl. In my background, I have a master's degree and bachelor's degree in fine arts. I used to teach art. I was an artist, professional artist for many years until I moved here. And I moved here and got into the social scene and was, a philanthropist, did all the nonprofits. I chaired a bunch of events. So I don't have any real skills. So at least I can say, hey guys, I have really sick guns. I've got a lot of ammo and I know how to friggin' use them.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's go. Let's do the basics, right?
Okay.
So how did you get into guns? Let's talk about that story.
Yeah. Well, the first time I shot a gun was 30 years ago when we first moved here, and I went to a local gun range, indoor range, and I had a guy give me a little lesson, and it was one of those. He's one of those type of guys, at the range who puts his arms around you from behind and goes, "Come here, sweetheart. Let me work on your grip." And I'm like, "Ew, I'm out."
I've never done that.
No, you're not that guy.
No.
And at this point, I probably, elbow a guy in the face for that. But so anyways, then life happened. I had a kid and got involved in other stuff. And then, like so many other people, when COVID hit and things got really kind of sketchy, like things were happening in my neighborhood, and I felt frankly unsafe.
Yeah.
And I'm just a nice little old lady, right? And I got nothing.
Yeah.
And I did used to do mixed martial arts training, but I think, I did.
You're a bag of surprises, I swear.
Yeah, I did. I love Muay Thai. That was my favorite, and jiu-jitsu.
He likes Muay Thai too because he's Thai.
I am Thai.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My trainer, Saxon Janjura.
Oh, Saxon, yeah.
See, I told you. See,
I know Saxon.
See, I was just being racist, but I didn't know he.
You were just being racist, yeah. Saxon was. Well, I'll be racist. Saxon used to. He never knew my name. I trained with him 3 times a week for 2 years, and I don't think he knew my name. He just called me white girl.
Yep, that's Saxon. Legit, that's Saxon. Yep.
To this day, if you went and said, "Oh, I met an old client of yours," he'd go, You know, white girl? Oh. And he because I started doing this stuff when I was like 50, right? Muay Thai and you know, I'm a late bloomer.
Yeah.
And Saxon would say, white girl, if you weren't so old, you'd be professionally fighting by now. And I'm like, thank God. You know, I started this when I'm going to pass my bloom, so to speak.
So were you this active when you were younger?
Nah, I was a slug.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the catalyst? Like what?
I don't know. I'm just a late bloomer. I have no idea. I can't explain. I've been exercising for a long time, running long distance, lifting weights and stuff like that. So I did competitive powerlifting. Okay. So one thing just led to another, and I'm like, oh, this seems like fun. Yeah, I love getting kicked in the head by 18-year-old black belts. You know. Thank you.
I thought I was going to go somewhere else. I was
thinking.
So, okay. So your background, so you said you moved here. Where did you move here from initially?
We moved here from Columbia, South Carolina, believe it or not. That's not where we're from. We lived there 7 years. And my husband took a position here at the SMU, Southern Methodist University. Before that, we lived in New York City for many years. I was there in the 80s.
Oh, my favorite era.
Man, it was so good.
Absolute favorite era.
It was so
I was like a baby, but for some reason,
you're a baby.
I have this weird attachment to the 80s. I don't
so many
understand
people do.
it.
I don't. The music.
I know all the words, and I don't know how or why.
Well, I know. I don't know, but that's when everybody started wearing black.
That, you know what? Damn, you're right.
I know, because when I was in New York, it was like the downtown scene, right? And this club opened, CBGB's, down in the
I used to have that T-shirt.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
And you know, all the guys.
I was a poser, though.
Yeah,
I just got it because I thought it was cool.
Right, but it was actually a thing in near my neighborhood, and you know, like Blondie got their start there, and like the Ramones and all these people, and everybody started wearing black, and there weren't a lot of black clothes available then, so they get T-shirts, and then they dye black, and then when they faded, they'd fill their washing machine with Rit dye. And so to keep everything super black.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
That's when I started wearing black. Yeah, back in the 80s.
Yeah, I remember I had I used to rock that CBG. God damn it.
CBGBs.
That's how much of a poser I was. I can't even remember how to say it. But it was. I grew up in an era where it was cool to go to Hot Topic and get like all these band T-shirts.
Yeah,
that was me. And I remember I would wear that shirt all the time. But
do you still have it?
I'm pretty sure I could possibly find it.
Dig that thing out.
I think I could.
Yeah,
I think I
want to see it on your next podcast.
If I find it, I will wear it exclusively for you.
Thank you.
I promise. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I love even down to the guns. You know, like if you look at some of the old 80s commercials when it comes to firearms, when you could actually still do commercials with firearms, anything went in the 80s essentially.
Yeah.
Now you can't see anything, didn't do anything. But I don't know what it is, but everything about the 80s there's just an energy there that I just absolutely love. And if I had a time machine, I would go back to the 80s. And people think I'm crazy.
I lived through it. You know, I can recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought you were going to say, "Oh, you're just romanticizing it. You have no idea."
No,
what
it was
like.
It was really fun, and living in New York was. It was so sort of raw and creative at that point, and there's graffiti everywhere, which sounds gross, but I don't know. It was just an amazing time.
Yeah. I envy you. Honestly,
I know.
I do. I envy you. So you have this special nickname at the gun store, the local gun store here.
Yes, one of my nicknames, by the way.
Okay, all right.
We'll go through.
We'll start with that one, then we'll go through the rest of them. All right. So you have the B&T lady,
Miss B&T.
Miss B&T. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about that.
Okay.
All right. What is your affinity for B&T?
I love them. Does that explain everything?
That pretty much, I mean, yes, to me, yeah.
I think it was my third gun was a B&T. Her name is Miss Susie. I anthropomorphized all my guns and cars. Miss Susie is a B&T APC 9.
Okay.
And she sleeps with me. She's my favorite girl. She's my best friend, except for my husband, kids, and dog. But and I just fell in love with B&T. And it was my first trainers. They hooked me up with it. They got that gun. A friend of theirs had it and sold it to me. And I didn't know from B&Ts. I didn't know from anything. But the first time I shot it, I'm like, oh, oh, she made me feel like a really good shooter.
Gotcha.
Because that's just how B&Ts are.
Yeah.
You know, you can just pick one up and shoot it.
Yep. I am right there with you. I think I kind of started off that way with respect to HK.
Yeah.
HKs were kind of
HKs are in a similar category. Yeah. I don't have one yet, but
really?
I think one must, so I have it on my list.
Like, I mean, to me, I don't know why HKs just scream 80s to me.
Yeah, I know.
That's like that's kind of when they kind of had their rise towards the late 80s.
Yeah.
But they give me that very 80s-ish aspect of firearms that I kind of really like.
I got to get that SP5K that you slap the thing.
Yeah, I have it.
You have, of course you have it.
Yeah. I'll do that from time to time. Yeah. I'll humble brag on you about guns. So just ignore me.
No, I won't ignore you.
Just ignore it. I do it to Peter all the time.
I'm all ears. So
okay, fair enough. So all right. So would you consider yourself a car girl?
No, I'm not a car girl, but Miss Betty, that's my Rolls Royce name. That's Black Betty, after the Ram Jam song, which has a special place in my heart for various reasons. But no, I love Betty. I had a Rolls before Miss Betty. I liked it. What's not to like? But I didn't bond with her. You know, I didn't really particularly name her. And I've had other nice cars, but Miss Betty, and I'm keeping her forever.
Really?
So many reasons why, because she's an icon at this point, but. And then, you know, they're not doing that 12-cylinder engine anymore. So
it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, you're definitely sitting on a classic.
I know.
And I call it a modern classic because it doesn't look old by any stretch of imagination.
Yeah, and she's an icon at the ranges. I can tell you, sir. I'll tell you because you'll love this.
Okay.
The first time I took a group class, you know, I just started shooting, and the girl who was training me, Anna Thomason, who was terrific, she said, "Let's go down to Hico, Texas, to take Tony Cowden's class." And so I'm like, why not? It was a pistol and carbine class. I had just gotten my first AR and, you know, my little pistol. And I didn't know what I was getting to. So Betty and I traveled down to Hico, Texas. And we pull up to the range, which was Texas Ordnance Depot at the time. Unfortunately, they closed. And I pull in, and it's all dudes. They've all got their trucks and all their gear and all this shit. And then Betty and I pull in. And I didn't know where to park because these friggin' guys, they get to, like, classes 8 o'clock starts. They get there at like 7:15.
Yep.
Why? I'm like, dude, have another cup of coffee and some more bacon and, you know, chill.
Y'all are so much alike. You don't even know.
So I pull in, and I think it was Jimmy Bell, who was one of the owners, and he's still a friend of mine. He comes running up to me. He's like, ma'am, can I help you? And I go, yeah, where do I park? Are you taking this class? Where do I park? So he told all the guys it was like Moses parting the Red Sea. So anyway, you know, it was great. Tony Cowden was amazing. He just took it in stride that I'm like this nice little lady. You know, at the time I was like 68 or something, and taking his class. He didn't care. He was just really great, and the guys were really great. So I went back the next year, and they had saved my place. So Betty and I, we just rolled right in and had our spot taken.
That's freaking awesome. I love that. They used to give me shit all the time when I had a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
And so they used to always give me shit about pulling up. I'd go to courses and I'd show up in the G-Wagon. They would always give me shit. It was always like lighthearted and fun, but I kind of had a similar experience when I first started kind of going to courses in this thing.
It's a flex car.
Well, no, the thing is I always wanted to, if you go back on my Instagram page and you go back to the very beginning when I started the page, there's a picture. And it's a picture of a G-Wagon literally jumping over like a sand dune or something like that.
Cool.
And I remember, and the caption reads, "One day I'm going to make this my range truck."
There you go.
Yes, and that's what happened.
Yeah, have you seen the new G-Wagon? That I don't know if it's new, but the one that's like next level. It's like $500,000. I can't remember the name of it.
Is it the lifted one, the 4x4 squared?
It's really Gucci'd out. You have to look it up.
Look it up. Pull it up. G63 4x4 squared. I think that might be the one.
But it doesn't say G-Wagon on it. It has another name.
It might be a Brabus.
Brabus, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The Brabus. Yeah. Yes. I've always wanted one, but man, those things it's insane.
Yeah.
And I could take my truck and send it out to Brabus to have them do it. The problem is I'm like, I've already paid for this thing. I already own it. I don't want to dump another. I mean, Brabus, you could easily dump in another 150.
So you take your car and then they do that to it?
Yes, they can do
I guess this is what I said.
Something like this?
Yeah. That was it.
I love that thing. Yes, it's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So there are actually a lot of other companies that do where you can actually they'll do the same kind of thing, but they kind of have their own like aesthetic language that they choose to do.
Sure.
And so like Brabus has their thing. There's another one in the UK called Urban. Okay. I thought about going with them too and doing something with them as well, but I just can't pull the trigger. And there's been a couple of companies that reached out that wanted me to possibly bulletproof it.
Well, and then you like to do stuff like that to your guns too, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yes.
I know.
In a weird way, though, I used to be everything. Just give me black guns.
Yeah.
Just make the gun black and I'm happy.
Same.
I'm starting to kind of fall out of that a little bit.
I'm liking coyote tan. I don't know why.
Same here. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on, but I'm like more and more. I'm like, give me either like flat desert earth or coyote tan or something of the sort. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to be.
Yeah, with black trim.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's the contrast it creates.
Yeah.
And it actually makes the blacks look deeper.
It does.
And so I think that's kind of my thing. Now, you talked about being in the fashion world. All right. So what was that life like?
Well, which part of it? I mean, I've lived I'm 71. I've lived a bunch of different lives. So, but if we started, back when we lived in New York, I worked for the designer Perry Ellis. So that was
wow.
Yeah. And then unfortunately, he and his partner, they succumbed to AIDS. A lot of guys were dying back then, and it is a downside of the 80s. But so I've always loved fashion since I was a little girl. I mean, I used to go to the store and buy Vogue patterns, and my grandma would make me these fancy dresses. I bought Saint Laurent, Dior in the 8th grade, but my grandma made them.
Gotcha.
So I've just always been that.
I'm a huge Saint Laurent fan, by the way.
I'm wearing Saint Laurent. I'm wearing all Saint Laurents.
And that's one of the reasons I like. They do black very well.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and one of my favorite colognes, you might know this one because it came out in the 80s, was the Saint Laurent Opium.
Opium, yeah. It's classic.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
I
still
wear
wear it to this day.
Balenciaga and Saint Laurent a lot.
Okay.
I wear Balenciaga a lot.
That's awesome.
Very black.
I can see that.
Yeah. So then, I don't know, there was a lot of stuff, but when I moved here, I got into the social scene, chaired events, and, I chaired art ball and luncheons, like the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society luncheon, a bunch of stuff. And then I founded a nonprofit organization to support local fashion design community. And so we did that for a long time. And then I think eventually then I got bit by the TV bug, and I decided I wanted to be a TV producer.
Okay. So
then I was a TV producer. And we did unscripted television, and I ended up being on a couple of TV shows, which was...
If you don't mind me asking, so unscripted meaning, like, is that reality TV?
You would call it reality, but I don't like to call it reality because there's nothing real about it.
Fair enough.
We can tell some secrets now.
Yeah, please do.
It's what you call soft scripted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I hate to say this, but those bitches, that fight is not organic. Teresa Goodice did not flip that table. Like, she wasn't just out. She's not, that was, you're produced into doing stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So in all fairness, I purposely didn't do this. I didn't do any background on you.
Okay.
Just because I knew, like, I wanted to be genuinely surprised about some of the things you told me.
Okay.
So are you referring to Housewives?
Yes.
Okay. So what was your participation in the Housewives aspect?
Well, my very active participation, I was on season 1 of Real Housewives of Dallas.
Okay.
And I was on another show called Big Rich Texas, which was on Style Network, which is no longer in existence. But I called that show Broke Ass Bitches. Because, again, it's not reality. And they were supposed to be Big Rich Texas. And I'm like, okay, this girl's renting this house and she doesn't have bedroom furniture. Sorry, Bonnie. But
I'm not going to lie. That's I've heard a lot of that in Dallas.
Yeah, but I mean, especially in TV, because those things, the audience wants the girls to be rich and bitchy and all that kind of stuff. But that show was like, I was on one season of that. I was always like, well, I call it roadkill, but, a supplementary character or something, someone to come in and actually just be the antagonist is what it's. That's why I call it a roadkill position. So, but that show was great fun. It was like being on a cartoon. I mean, it was so silly. And we used to laugh. Like, I had a fight. One of my good friends was a cast member on that, and we'd have these fights, and then she'd storm out of the room and throw something, and then she'd come back and we'd laugh and drink champagne.
Gotcha.
It doesn't always end up like that, though.
Gotcha.
Sometimes the beef gets real for these people.
Gotcha.
It's still going. And then my production company my production company did actually Real Housewives of DC, Real Housewives of Miami, and a number of shows on, I want to call it B&T Network. What is it? No, not they did shows on Bravo too. I can't remember. It's the channel that caters to African Americans.
BET.
BET. Yeah, not B&T.
Yeah.
BET. Yeah, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just decided that I wanted to get into production. So I did. One thing led to another. I knew a lady who was quite well known in the fashion world, and she just had her own show. And she literally said to me, "You know what, Heidi? You're fucking interesting. You need your own fucking show." So she introduced me to her agent, and I was out in California at the time for the summer, and I met him, and then he sent me around to a lot of production companies because I had this, the Housewives was a new burgeoning concept at that point. So I know all these people, right, who are just ripe for that kind of role. And so I ended up signing with a production company, and we became partners and had a few fun years together producing and doing stuff. And, we're all still friends. And
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was a good time, but tough. Tough business.
So you don't do anything with TV or anything like that anymore?
I don't, no. And every once in a while, one of my friends will say, "Hey, I saw this girl on your Instagram. I think she'd be a good. I know she'd be a good character, but I'm not going there. I will not. I will not do that to another human being because it's.
Is it really that?
Yeah. No, it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bad. I mean, and that's what you sign up for. A lot of girls have, not a lot, but the few who've made a lot of money and have made a lot of money and done well. Other ones, they're permanently destroyed. In
terms of like the narrative that was spun on them on the show and this.
Yeah, and how the community views you, and and then it's endless. Like when those shows are like reappear on people's screens, I'll still get like people writing like, "You're such a bitch, Heidi. Why'd you ask Carrie to go down in that corn dog?" And because we were eating corn dogs and she was sitting there like a priss, and something had to happen in that scene, right?
I always said I don't think I'd ever make it in TV or in Hollywood. I don't know why. I feel like I wouldn't. I think I'm too much of a...
Press.
You think so?
Yeah.
So you agree with me? You don't think I'd make it?
I think you would, but underneath your own terms, sort of like...
but I wouldn't have the leverage to make them.
You have no leverage. That's it. Once you sign the contract, that's it. You sign your deal with the devil, literally.
Yeah, there's that. Now, considering that... did you ever run into situations where that world conflicted with your love affair with firearms?
No, because they happened on different timelines
of your life. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because my firearm thing just happened 3 years ago.
Gotcha. So how would you navigate? So let's say it happened a lot earlier, like during that time period. How do you think you would have been able to manage that, or would you have been able to manage that, or do you think it would be something that would be a bit way more low key?
Well, I wouldn't have had as much time
because
I have a lot of time right now. Mm-hmm. But also, my company, we had a reel in development called Gun Guys. Mm-hmm. So, Gun Guys can make good stories. This one didn't happen to be that good a story, consequently it didn't sell. But, from time to time, you'd see cast members on Housewives and other female ensemble cast shows who would, go shoot firearms. And it was, a little piece of their storyline, maybe.
But it wasn't like that.
But at that point in time, I didn't have the bandwidth to. I have a kid, and
gotcha. Okay.
A husband who requires my attention. And
is he into guns at all?
No, not at all. But he loves what I am. Yeah, no.
That's so
he doesn't have time. He doesn't have time, and he doesn't really have the interest. Which is fine.
Yeah.
And sometimes he says, "Well, yeah, I'll go out and shoot with you." And I'm like, "Okay." Well, I think what will happen if the shit hit the fan, I would hand him one of my Glocks and just say, I just squeeze the trigger. You'll be fine, and I've got you. So.
Fair enough. I love it. So are you at a point in time now where are you like a collector of firearms now? Because you said you kind of really hit 3 years ago, right? That's when kind of it all started.
Yeah.
Right. And so how many guns do you say you have now?
14 going on 15.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'd put you. All right. So are they more on the handgun side, more on the rifle side? Like what is your kind of, I know you said your baby is a B&T APC-9. what would you say is your favorite platform? Like the handgun, AR, or like the pistol caliber carbines?
Well, I like the pistol caliber carbines just because of my size and how they shoot and everything. But however, I will tell you about my new AR. Oh my gosh, she's so sweet. This guy, I think you know him, Stephen Young. He made this one for me, and he made it. It's like 4.5 pounds or something. It's super light. Then I put like a 5-pound LPV on it. So, and I think I'm going to put like laser on the end too. So much for the lightweight. But she's a beauty. Her name is Adelheid.
Adelheid. What's still behind that name?
Adelheid actually is the long form of my name. Like if your name is, you call you Jimmy and James. And
Gotcha.
Adelheid is, nobody names their kid Adelheid because it's weird. But it used to be the name, and then they shortened it to Heidi, and it means Teutonic Battle Maiden.
Okay.
So Adelheid is my battle maiden, and I call her that because my trainer Jeff Houston is Steven's his friend, and they worked together to get that gun together. And so Jeff said, "Okay, well this is your battle gun. This and your Zev.
Yeah.
You know, if something bad happens, you strap on your Zev, you get Adelheid, and
you get to go.
You go."
How often do you say you go to? How often do you think you go to the range on a weekly basis?
Well, I mean, gosh, sometimes 3 times a week. I mean,
wow, you're a shooter.
Yeah, and I've been taking more classes, you know, because I did privates for a long time, and I love that. And then I thought, well, I really need more stress. I need to stress myself out, and I could tell you funny stories about like some of the classes I took, like. I sometimes I get so over my head. It's like I took this 3-day vehicle class with Chris Costa.
You dumped into the deep end.
Deep end. And I didn't know, and he didn't mention it, but I just signed up for that because I wanted to. I need to learn vehicle tactics, right? And so,
which I actually think makes sense. You spend a lot of time in
my car.
Yeah.
And so I signed up, but I didn't read the part where it said he required that you take his pistol and carbine class before. Oh, well. And so I showed up at the class, and there were 2 other girls there, and they were like in their like early 30s, some real cute, nice girls, and you know, good shooters. But everybody else were like big, hairy dudes, you know. And there were these 4 giant SWAT guys in full kit. And I love SWAT guys.
Yeah.
You know, one of my trainers is Plano SWAT, and they're great. But you know, you're like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? And then there's 4 giant SWAT guys in full kit. You're like, fuck. So at that class, I roll in and Betty, and there's this category of guys that I call random range guys.
Random what?
Range guys.
Okay.
Random range guys. And at every class, it's full of random range guys, but there's always 1 or 2 that are, you know, outspoken, and they're very well-meaning because you know their intention is they want to help a girl out. Yeah. And that's what guys want to do. They want to take care of us. I love that and appreciate it. But random range guys, you get that name because you tell me some dumb shit. You tell me stuff that makes 0 sense, even to me who doesn't know that much. And this has happened again and again.
I'm laughing because I know what she's talking about.
Don't be that guy. Okay.
I'm gonna make a shirt that says random
range guy. Please, yes. I want a dozen. I'll just hand them on. So at Costa's class, Betty and I roll in, and this guy comes running up to me, and he goes, "What the hell are you doing driving that car? Everybody knows what that is. You need to get rid of that car. You need to get one of these." And he's got this truck where, dude, the wheels came up to here on me. He goes, "You need to get one of these. You shouldn't have that Rolls Royce." I said, "Dude, if you had a Rolls Royce, would you want to get rid of it?" No. And so, you know, these guys, they just carry on. And they mean well. He was just like... Anyway, by the 3rd day when we were all beaten down and everything, we became friends, and I developed a nice affection for him. Gotcha. He was part of my 4-man team, and I love that I can say I have my 4-man team.
That is actually kind of cool because I can't even say that.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. But so then the first day of class, Chris gets the whole class together, and he looks at me and he goes, "Can I ask you a question?" I go, "Uh-huh." And he says, "How old are you?" And to the audible gasp of the participants, I said, "I'm 70. Oh. Then the giant SWAT guys. So our first drill, I was standing next to one of the giant SWAT guys. And when I first get to a class, I go into what I call a TGP, total gay panic. And I'm like, oh my God, no, I can't do that. What am I doing? I should go home. I need to leave. I can't deal with these porta potties anymore. I've got to go. And so Chris lays out the drill, and I spazzed. I didn't know what he said. I didn't know what he's talking about. I'm just like, and one of the giant SWAT guys standing next to me goes, like that. And I got so mad. I wanted to say to him, hey, dude, how would you like it if your mom, or I guess grandma, was out here and someone disrespected her like that?
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I held my tongue. Because I didn't, I'm learning as I get older. Mm-hmm. So then after the drill was over, I went up to him and I go, hey, thanks for your patience out there. This is really hard for me, and I'm always really nervous at first and stuff. And then I got to be friends with the giant SWAT guys. And the last day of class, all 4 of them came up to me, and you're like, whoa. And one of them says, Miss Heidi, it is such an inspiration seeing you out here. And, I teared up and started crying. I'm like, thank God for range glasses. Thank you. It meant a lot to me that he said that, because it was really, that was a challenging class for me.
Yeah, you dove into the deep end.
Yeah,
because sure. Even that have to be a challenging course for me too.
Yeah, it was exhausting.
Yeah, very much so. But I think it's awesome that you did it, and I think everybody doesn't have the opportunity to do it, but even people I know who do have the ability to do it, they don't do it, and I think they should. Kind of go into a little bit about how has taking different courses changed the way you look at firearms and which guns you buy, which ones you want and want to own, and so forth and so on. Because the reason I ask that question is because I always say you never really know how much you really truly like a gun until you take it to a course.
You take it to a range. Yeah. Yep. And Susie was with me. Susie and my Zev, who I named Nico.
Yeah.
After the girl who was part of Andy Warhol's factory gang. She sang with Lou Reed. Mm-hmm. And he hated her because she was always off key. She was a breathy off key alto, and that's what. But she was a thing. And my son actually told me, because my son is a musician, he said, your singing voice sounds like Nico. Breathy, low, off key alto. So anyway, I named that gun Nico.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I learned how much I love Nico and how much I love Susie and how much I love Adelheid from going to classes. It's one thing I go to the range myself, or Jeff and I train and I learn stuff then, but just being really under that duress and you're on the line with a bunch of guys and stuff, it's not easy. No,
I can imagine that. Yeah, even for a guy, largely because then egos get kicked in.
Egos.
And then it's like that's your group, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I got to give you mad props. I do. I definitely do. Yeah. No, you've been awesome. I love you.
I'm going to tell you about my next adventure.
Okay, please do.
So I'm obsessed with snipers.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
It's a normal girl thing, right? I like fashion and snipers. And wine.
That's a T-shirt too.
That's
I'm gonna start paying royalties at that point.
We got to get these T-shirts cranked out.
Seriously.
But I watched a recently sniper movie and stuff. So then once I learned that sniper stalking was an actual thing, I'm like, well, I want to learn how to do that. I want to do that. I want to do sniper stalking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Well, because I do long range shooting. And so, I
didn't know you did long range shooting too.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
We're gonna have to talk about that when we come back.
I love long range shooting. Yeah. It's so hard though. But I learned about sniper stalking, and then I looked at videos about sniper stalking, and then I Googled sniper stalking Dallas, and a guy came up. I can't believe this. Really, there's somebody who teaches sniper stalking in Dallas? Of course. And so I contacted the guy, and I'm like, hey, I'm Heidi. Told him a little about myself. And he calls me up and he goes, this is probably the most interesting email I've ever received. He said, are you aware that my stalking class is 1,000 yards and I teach military age men? I go, uh-huh. And he goes, so are you sure this is what you want to do? I said, look, honey, whatever I do going forward has to be survivable. So I was thinking maybe we could do a one-on-one and maybe back off on the 1,000 yards. And he goes, and I really want to do this, and I want you to have a good experience. And I have to tell you, it'll take you a week to make your ghillie suit. And I went, babe, I flunked home ec. I'm not making a ghillie suit. What's another option? He said, well, you can buy one. They're about $700. I'm like, fine. You know what? I'll get a ghillie suit. Then I'm going to put it in a plexiglass box and put it in my living room.
You know what's funny?
What?
I'm going to do it.
You can do sniper
I'm
stalking.
going to take the sniper stalking course.
He teaches it out at ETTS.
Really?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, his name is Remington Parker.
Oh shit!
Just look at yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it not during the summer because I'm not going to.
No, I don't think he does it during the summer because people would drop.
Would die. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we had a nice chat. And he's like, I said, do you ever train anybody my age? He goes, no. I said, do you ever trained a woman? No. Okay. All right. Well, this is going to be fun.
Hell yeah, we're gonna do that, Peter. We're gonna take that course. Hell yeah, and he does it at ETTS.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah! Look at you putting me on to some shit.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, all right. Now I know. So you took it already?
No, I'm gonna take it in October.
You're gonna take it in October?
Yeah.
Is it like multiple people or is it like one-on-one?
Just me.
Just you? Okay.
Yeah.
So after you, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, get with him. I'll give you his contact info.
Okay, perfect. But no, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Heidi, for coming on. I truly enjoyed this conversation.
And if we both survive, we'll have cocktails.
I'm game.
Yeah.
I'm game. Yep. Because that is all there is to do in Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I do this.
Yeah. No, I didn't like Dallas at first. It's definitely grown on me.
There was a long time where I want, because we spent summers in California, and of course we lived in New York for a number of years. So I love the East Coast, I love the West Coast. And I wanted to move to Malibu for 100 years. Not quite 100, like 20. and it never worked out because God had another plan.
Yeah.
And now actually I am so grateful I live in Dallas. I'm so blessed to be here for so many reasons that, I think you understand most of them. California, I love it. It breaks my heart what's going on out there.
I
But
used to love going to California.
both my sons live in LA, and they've got their nose to the grindstone, so they don't
really notice.
They notice, but they, it's not like me. I'd be freaking out all the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, it's I used to really enjoy going to California. I would do the same thing. I'd go to LA. I'd stay at the W in Beverly Hills, and just kind of. Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, but now you can't pay me to go to California now. No,
we're going this summer. We're going to Malibu again. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which I love, but weird things happened there a couple years ago. The homeless thing.
Yeah.
They've always been homeless people in Malibu, but the locals kind of knew who they were and looked after them and whatever. But a couple years ago, then there was a family on the beach on a Saturday afternoon, and these two homeless guys went up to them, started yelling at them, telling them to get off the beach. It was their beach. It wasn't these people any business. And the dad stood up and was like, "Hey, man, get the F out of here. I'm with my kids, my family." So one of the guys had a machete, took a machete and sliced the guy from here to here. The dad lost his eye. They arrested the two guys and then released him the next day.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So that was just down the beach from where we stay. So it made me sick.
That's why I can't do freaking California. Well, there's that. Well, we're in Dallas now, so.
Well, even if the guy had a gun, or he'd be the bad guy.
Yeah. Oh, I can
so
imagine.
Here in Dallas, I think if someone pulled out a machete on me, I think I'd know what I could do.
And you'd probably I know for a fact, they'd probably paint a mural of you, put it on the side of City Hall. Well, certain parts of Dallas.
Certain parts of Dallas,
certain parts of Dallas. But yeah, no, it's definitely. I just saw a story recently about a guy who defended himself with a gun in California, and they arrested him. Yeah. Yeah, and so, but it's unfortunate, but the lives we live. But I definitely want to have you back on.
Cool.
Especially after we do sniper school, so we can talk about the sniper school. We definitely got to talk about the sniper school because I think that'd be pretty. The fact I didn't know about this, and we're gonna do that.
Well, I have more time on my hands than you do.
Yeah. We'll talk about that next time.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be October, so we'll get together after that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Heidi.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now, you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together, we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.